Hello and welcome back to my channel, Leah's Wholesome Bakes. I hope and pray that these videos are very beneficial to you and that they are helping you along your journey in healthy eating and just living a healthy lifestyle, because my goal is to um, just teach as much as I can the best way to bake using these wholesome ingredients. And so yeah, I hope that you are benefiting from it. And if you are, please let me know. If you're not, let me know, either on Facebook or on YouTube. Let me know how these videos are to you. What do you think about them? Just give me your honest opinion, and I will take it to heart and I will tweak my videos however I need to. Today I am going to bake pizza dough, and this is the first time that I'm trying this recipe. It's a slightly different recipe than what I've been using. It makes a little bit more pizza dough, and the reason why I want to make more is because I want to bake it, pre-bake it, and then freeze it in the freezer, and then I'll be able to take them out and use them for Jeremiah and Eli's lunches for school, because they love pizza, of course, and I want them to have healthier options while they're in school. So yeah, I am going to get started with my ingredients here. The wet ingredients are 2 tablespoons of honey, 1.5 cups of warm water, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil. My dry ingredients are 1 tablespoon of yeast, active dry yeast, a teaspoon of salt, 3 cups of white whole wheat flour, plus a half a cup of white whole wheat flour, just to use while you're kneading the dough. 2 tablespoons of vital wheat gluten. Start with the water, the warm water, and sometimes I proof my dough, sometimes I don't. Today I'm going to proof my dough, which means basically you're just adding the active dry yeast and the honey to the warm water. And proofing means that you are just proving that the yeast is still active. It's called active dry yeast, because the yeast have to still be active, still has to be alive in order for it to rise the dough. So to prove it, you're just going to put it in some water and add. It has to be the water has to be, I think, about 120 degrees. So you're going to add it to some warm water and then add the sugar too, because it feeds off of the sugar. And that's what you do to prove that the yeast is still active. So I put those 3 together and I'm going to let them sit for about 10 minutes. And if it bubbles up, then that means that the yeast is still active. My yeast has been proved, and it went up to about 2 cups, rose up to about 2 cups in my measuring cup. Here I have my flour. I have my 3 cups of white whole wheat flour, and I'm going to add, I made a well in the middle of the flour. And actually, before I add my water, my yeast and water, I'm going to add the wheat gluten, and the salt. And mix those together. This recipe also added some herbs, some spices to the dough, and I figured I'd go ahead and why not do that. So I have some oregano, Italian seasoning, and garlic. And I think that's going to be delicious. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love pizza dough. I think that's probably one of my favorite breads to eat is pizza dough. And my favorite thing to bake is anything with yeast. I just love the chemistry behind the different ingredients, like how the sugar and the warm water makes it rise. I love that. And I love the smell of yeast breads. Oh my gosh. So all things yeast is my favorite thing to bake, if you ever wanted to know that. So anyway, I'm adding my water, yeast, and my my honey to there. I made a well in the middle. And then I'm going to add to that my olive oil. I think I got everything in here. Got a little bit distracted because my husband came down to get a snack and my two boys came down to get a snack while the yeast was in the water sitting there waiting for me to add it to the flour. So I had to hurry up and make the snacks for my boys and hurry up and talk to my husband. I really appreciate my family. They are so good and so patient because I have been baking nonstop, but trying to, I guess, kind of bake whenever I have time, and then also at the same time spend time with my family. I don't want the baking. I love baking, but I don't want it to take away from my time that I spend with my family. So I appreciate them very, very much. And my husband and I's 10-year anniversary was on the 7th of November. Thank you. And so yeah, we're going to spend some time together this week. Take some time off of work and spend some time together, a couple of days. So hopefully that'll make up for the time that I've been baking. I have to experiment and try new things, right? They should appreciate it anyway because they are the taste testers and I never hear complaints whenever they get to taste the food. So tonight they get to taste several different things because I'm baking baking the pizza dough, I'm baking the rolls, and I'm baking a sandwich bread. So I mixed all that together and it smells amazing. I can smell that garlic. Oh my gosh. Garlic bread. Oh, another one of my favorites. Garlic bread, garlic knots. Oh, I guess any kind of Italian bread I love. So yummy. So I'm mixing all that together. And now I'm going to knead it. So I kneaded this for about 5-10 minutes and it's in good shape now. And I am going to put it in my glass bowl that I greased. Turn it around in there. And I'm going to let that sit. I'm going to put a shower cap over it, let it sit for about an hour and let it double in size. And actually, I'm going to take a picture of it so that I can know how long it's going to take to rise to double in size. And I use a picture as a reference so that I can see the starting point and the finishing point. My pizza dough has risen. I'm going to deflate it. Turn it out onto the counter. And I'm going to make individual pizzas. So pizza crusts. So I'll divide it into 4 pieces. And I have my oven preheated to 450 degrees. This is the first time that I've tried to, well, they call it pre-bake or par-bake. Partially bake the dough so that you can freeze it and have it ready to put toppings on. Take it out of the freezer, put toppings on it, slide it right into the oven. So I'm excited about this. Okay, so I'm gonna roll these out. Okay, so I have these. I rolled out 4 pieces of dough into smaller size pizza crusts. And I probably could have made 5 of these because I usually make my dough pretty thin. So I think this dough might be kind of slightly thick, like an original crust, like the Pizza Hut original crust or Domino's original crust. So it won't be too thick or too thin. I think it'll be a pretty good amount of thickness for these personal-sized pizzas. So I am going to take my pan out of the oven. I have it in there. The oven is at 450 degrees. I'm going to take out the pan. I'm going to bake these on the pan for about 5 minutes each set, and I will let you see how they turn out. Alright, my crusts are out of the oven. They baked for about 8 minutes. I baked 2 of them at a time. There's 4 of them. So 8 minutes for each batch. And this is probably slightly larger than a personal size pizza, especially for my boys, for Jeremiah and Eli. I'll probably make one and then cut it in half and just give each of them half of the pizza. But this, I'm so excited because I've been buying pre-made crusts from the store and just freezing them, and I'm like, I know that I can do this. I know how to make pizza dough. I just never thought about actually making it, pre-baking it, and putting it in the oven or putting it in the freezer in preparation for whenever we want to make a pizza. So this is it, guys. This is a pre-baked pizza crust, and it's slightly brown around the edges, which I think is about the perfect bake that you want. And I'll take some pictures so you can see it up close. And they both turned out pretty good, and the other ones are behind me. So, and it's like a medium, as far as thickness, medium thickness. It's like I said, like an original crust. I just didn't. Oh, I didn't think about that. I didn't put a lip around the crust like a pizza, like I normally do with my pizzas. But that's okay because I'm excited. These are going to be great for whenever I want to make just a pizza. Pop them out of the freezer and put the toppings on, and they will be delicious. Yay! Homemade pizza crust. If you guys want these, I can freeze them and I can ship them to you. So let me know. Let me know about this video and other videos. And of course, continue to stay tuned as I will continue to bring you the wholesome bakes that I love to bake. Thank you. Bye-bye. I did have some tips as far as pre-baking these pizza crusts. One thing you want to do before you put it in the oven is to stab it with a fork. Otherwise, they might have a bubble come up as it's baking. And then also, after you take them out of the oven, you want to place them on a cooling rack. All of your baked goods, try to remember to place them on a cooling rack and not let them sit in the pan, because otherwise they'll get soggy at the bottom, and we do not like soggy bottoms, right? Or maybe you do. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So if you don't mind, or if you mind having a soggy bottom, then place all of your baked goods on a cooling rack. So I have my pizza crust cooling on a cooling rack. Though they need to cool down completely for maybe about half an hour before you place them in the freezer, because when you put them I want to place them in a plastic bag, and then when you put them in a plastic bag and they haven't been cooled down yet, then the warmth from the heat from the baked good will cause condensation inside the bag, and it'll get watery and wet, and then it'll cause the dough to get sticky and wet and mushy, and we don't want that. Um, we want to have perfectly cooked pizza crusts and hard, so that when they come out of the freezer and into the oven, they won't be soft. All right, those are my tips for the pre or par baked pizza crust. Thank you again.